dancing with other men's wives in the middle of the night, you think, oh, he's quite a, an irreligious, impious person. Because you have no foundation of understanding of the form of Krishna, that he is the non-dual reality. Everything that he does is completely pure. He's not even meeting with someone else. All these gopis are his own Hladini Shakti as manifest from his form. They're not different from him. It's like a child playing with his reflection in the mirror. It's not another person. So, if you take it, you're in Vivarta, you're completely bewildered by Maya, and you interpret Krishna's Leela according to that samskar, those impressions as well. And so, when there is a Sadguru and a Satsishya, then there is the pure transmission of Shabda Brahma, which gives the direct realization, Sakshat Darshan, direct realization of the truth. And even if the Guru is qualified, but the disciple is not completely surrendered, then he will receive these 4 types of compromised knowledge. Prachina Gyan, Sankirn Gyan, Vikrita Gyan, and Vivartagrasta Gyan. And then that disciple gives to the next generation. Now this becomes an Apasampradaya. All Apasampradayas have their roots in the incomplete transmission of Shabda Brahma. Understand? So, the meaning of hearing, just to complete for today, because we promised we'd explain what does Sravana mean. Hearing. It means that the Sadguru, pure Vaishnava, he has realization of the Vastava Satta Shuddha. Vastava Satta Shuddha. Vastava Satta means the eternal unchanging existence, and it is a Suddha, nectar. That realization of the eternal nectar appears on the lips of Sri Guru in the form of a Sanjivani Dhara. That means a life-giving current of transcendental sound, because all the living entities are in this world, the bodies and minds are activated by Rajagun, but the Atma is in like a coma. So the Sanjivani Dhara of the Vastava Satta Shuddha flows from the lips of Sri Guru with an Avimishra Bhav. That means a bhav, a love for Krishna, which is not mixed with anything worldly, with Aviv Mishra Bhav. Then the disciple, who is the Seva Snigdha Shishya, the Sishya who is a Seva Snigdha, he's very soft, he's very compliant, he's completely malleable to the will of Guru and absorbed in service. So he's a Seva Snigdha Sishya, full of affection. That disciple's ears are like Anjali, like hands begging for nectar. So when the Seva Snigdha Sishya receives the Sanjivani Dhara from the lips of Guru, through his ears which are like Anjali begging, then it enters into the Vishuddha Hridayakash, to the sky of the heart of that disciple, and is manifest there. And he sees Vrindavan. He sees Sri Krishna and their associates. And that is called Sravana. And when that methodology of, that epistemology, that method of receiving knowledge is called Srotapanta. Srotapanta. And where the Srotapanta is intact, that is called Sat Sampradaya. Eternal bona fide Sampradaya. And if there is any Maika Vyavadan, any impediment to that, a Parampara can go on, a Guru Parampara can go on. But Yogo Nashta Parantapa. It seems that this line is there, but really it's not there. Therefore, at the beginning of the class, we discussed this point. Siddhanta Bolia Chete Nakro Alas. Don't be lazy. Try to understand Siddhanta, otherwise you'll receive something else. And if we do receive real Siddhanta, Then Jahoite Krishna Lagi Sudrida Manas. The mind will become Sudrida. Very, very firm, unmovable. Only those who have a Sudrida Manas, they can do bhajan. Yesham Twantakatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam Te Dvandva Moha Nirmukta Bhajanti Mam Dridhabrata. Those who are Sudrida Manas, they can do bhajan Dridhamata, with firm determination. But who are they? Yesham Twantakatam Papam. All their sins have been destroyed. They're free from pap. They have no the misbehavior in their life. And the samskars of the sins have already been in the heart. The papa beach have been destroyed also. Jananam punya karmanam. Not only in this life, but from the previous life. They've done punya karma. Here punya karma, the pious activity, is not the shubha karma of this world. Here their punya karma is sadhu sangha. They've associated with pure Vaishnavas. And by hearing from them, te dvandva moha nirmukta. They've become liberated from dvandva. In other words, they've received advai gyan. There are only two things, advai and dvai. Whatever is not the perception of the non-dual reality is dvandva, that is maya. Don't think that you can be in dualistic consciousness and this is maya, this is not maya. It's all maya. Only the direct experience of the Advai Gyan is not maya. If you think that something which is not the direct experience of the Advai Gyan is not maya, that is called a Prakrita Bhakta. He's a devotee, but he himself and his whole practice is all Prakrita, his whole conception, even his conception of transcendence is Prakrita. So Krishna says, Te dvandva moha nirmukta. That person now, he is free from the dualities. Bhajanti mam dridhabrata. And he's serving me with firm determination. He's doing actual bhajan. Gaur premanande hari hari bol. That is the meaning of Shravanam, Srotapanta and Satsampradaya. So we'll complete there. Are there any questions? Yes, Siddhahari.
Yes, ma'am.
Siddhahari Prabhu. Yes. What's your question, Prabhu?
I have two questions. The first one is that you mentioned sometime during the talk that if somebody who's listening on the video is not necessarily getting the Shabda Brahman because the Quran transfer has to be heard through the lips. So I want to understand that many of our gurus like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, they were traveling a lot and they initiated many disciples, and they were emphasizing that you can know about me through my books. That's how you can know about me. So what is your understanding that how do they want the knowledge to be transferred to their disciples? Because many of them are very new in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
And they receive, you can say, the whole gift from their gurus when they first met him. So
yes.
how do you understand what was their vision? How will their disciples grow and mature in Krishna consciousness?
First, Durapa alpatapasa seva vaikunta vartmasu yatropagiyate nityam deva deva janardana. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Ramananda Rai, Ramananda Rai asked him, please stay here for some days with me. Mahaprabhu said, no. When I go back to Puri, you should retire from your government responsibilities and come and stay with me in Puri, and we'll have Harikatha together for our whole life. Why only a few days? So Ramananda Rai, he gave up his position as the governor of Madras, and he retired and he came to Jagannath Puri and he stayed. And when Mahaprabhu came and met with him, he said, Durapa alpatapasa. This is a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It means those whose austerities, Durapa alpatapasa, it's very difficult for them to get sadhu sangha. Durapa, it's very rare. Those who like comfort, those who like to be in their comfort zone. Yes, very nice. I have a nice bed and good AC and central heating and everything. Those who are attached to their comfort, it's very hard and very rare for them to get sadhu sangha. So durapa alpatapasa seva vaikunta vartmasu. It's very difficult for such persons who are attached to their worldly comforts to have the company of those who are on the path going to the Goloka Vrindavan, to the spiritual world. Here Vaikunta means beyond Vaikuntha. for the Raganuga Bhaktas. So sadhu sangha is very precious, very rare, you see. But sadhu sangha sarva shastra koi lava matra sadhu sangha sarva. All perfection comes from sadhu sangha, and that sadhu sangha should go on for a long time. It should continue. You know the verse, satam prasangan mama virya samvido. So shraddha, rati, bhakti, anukramisyati means in a sequence. You have to go through the stages. In sadhu sangha, the stages. First shraddha, that means through the stage of sadhan. And then rati means through the stage of bhav, and then to prem. And even when you get prem, sadhu sangha is still necessary. It's always necessary. All the angas of bhakti are eternal. So if you have a little association, you can get all perfection. But that means in that moment, you get perfection in that moment. If you don't get perfection in that moment, you need to associate again. Understand? So that moment, that lava matra is like we were discussing the other day, that Jana Sharma, he met with Gop Kumar. And Gop Kumar just blessed him. And he just felt himself going through the coverings of the universe. And then he was in Golok Vrindavan, in his Swarup, face to face with his guru in his spiritual form. That's lava matra. Boom! Straight to Golok Vrindavan. But most people are not qualified for that. They have a history of offenses and so on, and are nartas. So it will have to be a step-by-step process. So sadhu sangha should be again and again. Swarup Damodar said, Chaitanyera bhakta gan nitya karo sangha. Tabito janibe samudra visha. What is it? Tabito janibe siddhanta samudra taranga. Associate every day with the near and dear intimate associates of Mahaprabhu. Tabito janibe siddhanta samudra taranga. And then you'll enter into the waves in the ocean of Siddhanta. Siddhanta is an ocean. And even it's not still. It's moving. We think Siddhanta is like this fixed list of concepts. But actually there's a Siddhanta for when you're in the Kanishta stage, when you're in the Madhyam stage, in the Uttam stage. So we need association so that as we progress, our adhikar changes, then we get a higher instruction. And then adhikar will develop, and then we get another sadhu sangha and higher, like this. So it goes on like this. So Srila Prabhupada and my Gurudev and others, they never said you can understand everything by reading. They said you must study. But what do Sava Shastrakai, all the scriptures are saying when you read, then you read, oh, I need sadhu sangha. That's what the study, and that's what you find out the scriptures are saying. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So the thing is this, that because it's not comfortable, because it's inconvenient, and because we're attached, and because there are thousands and thousands of persons attached to their comfort, they're not ready to sacrifice their life completely, leaving everything, and because it's very difficult to be with a sadhu for a long time. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, what did he do? In the middle of the night, he ran away and he went to Puri. He was with Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai Swarup. When they passed away, then he left there, he went to go and be with Rupa and Sanatana. It was my experience also as a boy. I left everything and lived with Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. When he passed away, I left that. Sleeping on the floor outside the door of my Gurudev. For years and years. When he left, I was with Fakir Mohan Prabhu, you know the great Fakir Mohan Prabhu. With Fakir Mohan Prabhu, Vishnuji Shastri, Achyuta, my whole life, always in sadhu sangha, like this. But it's inconvenient. So what we should do is, if there's a situation and it's inconvenient, what we have to do is change the Siddhanta so everyone can feel comfortable and happy. Right? Is it right? Is it right? So this is the thing that when I'm speaking, you excuse me if you feel I'm saying things which are like shocking, or you didn't hear before, or something new. Because we cannot always stay in the same stage. We have to hear a certain katha. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. 16 rounds, go back home, back to Godhead. Read my books, and there's a stage we have to read. But if we want to enter into Madhyam Adhikar, there's a kata for the Madhyam Adhikaris. And it's a little bit more demanding, it's a little more challenging. And then there's a kata for the, we're discussing today, there's a kata for the Madhyam Adhikaris. But the Rasa kata is the kata for the Uttam, the Madhyam Bhagavats and the Uttam Bhagavats. So there are different levels of kata according to our stage. So, but Srimad Bhagavatam says this. Srimad Bhagavatam Paranamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramhamsa Ekalavam Tatra Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraga Bhakti Saitam Naiskama Avishtritam Tat Shrinvan Supatan Vicharana Paro Bhakta Vimuchendara. 12th canto. Tat Shrinvan, first hear it. Then Supatam. Pat means reading. What does Supat mean? Beautiful reading. The reading that you do after hearing is beautiful because it's properly adjusted. When we hear first from a pure Vaishnava, they give us the sanskar, the impressions of the subject matter. Then when we read it, that sanskar is awakened and we relish it and we go into it more deeply. So the reading which is done after hearing is beautiful. Otherwise, it's Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasenam, Achalam, Vandam, Dasham, Sakra, Admi, where's reading?
This is Shravanam is reading because you're reading the written word of the Acharya.
That is Shravan. You are reciting, you're hearing yourself.
Yeah.
So what is the quality of your sound? Is it transcendental sound or not? If there's no realization, it will not be transcendental sound. So everyone should be encouraged. The acharyas and gurus, they give encouragements to the neophyte devotees that they'll start the path according to their capacity. If you give someone too much, they'll be broken. So instruction has to be given that they can do and they begin the process. So we see that in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, Shonika Rishi and the sages are in Naimisharanya. And they're thinking, what can we do? So they decided, let's all read books. Wait a minute, no, that didn't happen. Wait a minute, I got it wrong. So they decided, let's find out who's the eldest, most senior learned Vedantist amongst us and listen to him. Veitatvam somya tat sarvan tatpatastad anugrahat bruyusis asasishasya guruvo goyam apiyata. They said, Veitatvam somya tat sarvam. Oh, we know, oh Sutta Goswami, we know that you have transcendental knowledge. Why? Because you are a very affectionate disciple of your Guru, Shukadev Goswami. Guyama Piyata. So we know that he must have instructed you in confidential knowledge. So we want to hear from you. So they all took shelter and they listened to him. That's their Bhajan Shiksha Guru. So then Sutta Goswami began to speak and he began to explain that Vyasadeva, what to speak, we also read the books. Vyasadeva wrote all the books and even he was dissatisfied. Not reading. The person who wrote them all was feeling dissatisfied. How did he overcome his dissatisfaction?
He heard from Narada Muni and wrote Bhagavatam again.
Narada Muni came and he heard from Narad. And by hearing from Narad, he went into trance. You see? So that's called Narad Vyasamvad. And then the Bhagavatam begins and then we hear about Parikshit Maharaj. He has 7 days left to live. So he went on the bank of the Ganges. He asked the sage, what should I do? And they told him, read books. Wait a minute. No, they didn't say that. That didn't happen. So he decided he would listen from the lips of Shukadev Goswami. And then Shukadev Goswami began to speak and he described how Uddhav was going from the Prabhas and he was on his way to Badrik Ashram, and on the way on the bank of the Jamuna, there he met with Vidura. And he had a message for Vidura, some teachings that should be given to Vidura. And he said, here's a book, read this. No, that didn't happen. He said, you should listen to Maitreya Rishi, right? And so then there's a conversation, Maitreya and Vidura, third canto. So in this way, every step of Srimad Bhagavatam is the Shrotapanta. Shrotapanta is descending through the hearing process everywhere. And the books stay there to remind us what we have heard. So books are important. My whole life I have been translating and publishing books. That was my service to my Gurudev, and I continue with that service today. So books are very, very important. But once Dhammakrishna Goswami, he asked Srila Prabhupada, can we understand your books by reading them? Prabhupada said, no, you have to hear from a person who knows the subject. And he said, but your purpose, explain. So can we hear them? Can we understand by reading your purports? Because you know the subject. Prabhupada said, no, you have to understand by hearing. Then Dhammakrishna Maharaj said, but why? Why can't we just read? And then Srila Prabhupada grabbed him by the ear and twisted his ear. He said, because the book won't do this. You see, a guru is called Karnadhara. One who, because when you read, if you misunderstand something, the book will not correct you. But guru will catch you by the ear and correct like this. So Srinvatam Swat Katha Krishna, tell us. Yes, then? Nasta Prayeshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, what does it mean?
Always hear Bhagavatam. Always hear the Bhagavatam.
What's the meaning of the word Bhagavatam?
What's the meaning of the word Bhagavatam?
Bhagavatam, what does it mean? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Serve the Bhagavad devotee or the Bhagavad book?
There are two.
Yeah.
You see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Kaviraj says, oh, what is the mercy of Gaur-Nitai? Dui bhaya ridiyara kshalyandaka, dui bhakavakat sange karna sakshatka. Just as in a room, there are some tables and chairs and pots. In the dark you cannot see, but when a light comes, then you can see this is a table, this is a chair, this is a pot. So in the same way, dui bhaya ridiyara kshalyandaka. When we serve Gaur-Nitai and get their mercy, then they illuminate the heart. Dui bhagavata sange karna sakshatkar. And they cause us to recognize and meet Dui Bhagavata Sange Karna Sakshatkar. To recognize two types of Bhagavats. Eka Bhagavata Bada Bhakti Rasa Shastra, Ara Bhagavata Bhakta Bhakti Rasa Patra. Next verse. One of the Bhagavats is the book Bhagavat, which is the great scripture, the greatest of all scriptures. Because there are many, there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, but in other Vaishnava Sampradayas, they think Vishnu Purana is great, Padma Purana is great. They don't necessarily recognize that the Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna Bhakti Rasa Sarupa, and it is head and shoulders and miles higher than any other scripture. It is something, the Tatparya of Srimad Bhagavatam is Radha Dasyam, and the glories of Radharani are there in every page. But they don't know. So when you get the mercy of Gaur-Nitai, then you recognize this Bhagavatam is something else. Kimva Parayarishwara, what's the need of any other scripture? Tad rasamrita triptasya nanyat yadri kochit. One who's tasted the rasamrita of Bhagavatam, he cannot be satisfied with anything else. So, first mercy of Gaur-Nitai is to recognize the exalted position of Srimad Bhagavatam and Ara Bhagavata Bhakta Bhakti Rasa Bhakta, and recognize who is the Bhakta Bhagavat. Without mercy of Gaur-Nitai, we cannot. There are many devotees, and we respect everyone, but not every devotee is Bhakta Bhagavat. That means the Vaishnava who has realized in trance Srimad Bhagavatam. All the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are living in his throat and saying, me, me. They want to jump out when he opens his mouth. They want to jump out at every moment. Harikatha is flowing in rivers in all directions. Tasmin mahan mukarita barubich charitra piyusha shesha sharita parita shravanti. So the Bhakta Bhagavat, that means that Vaishnava who is the living, walking, breathing, singing, dancing embodiment of all the bhavs of Srimad Bhagavatam. The general persons they cannot recognize, and they don't have even the good fortune to meet such a person. But when the mercy of Gaur Nitai comes to us, then this Kripa illuminates our heart, and we see, this is the book, very special. And this Vaishnava is Bhakta Bhavat. So in the next verse, Krishna, have you read Chaitanya Charitamrita?
I'm trying to. Yeah.
Is it? My Gurudev used to say, reading and forgetting is not reading. When you read and it goes in and stays and lives with you, this is reading. So then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Ei dui dwari diya bhakti ras tahara hridaya tara prema hayavash. Then, through the action of these two Bhagavats together, then the mellows of prema, the prema ras is infused into the heart of the disciple. And then see Krishna comes under the control of that rasa in the heart of the devotee. Krishna comes under his control. Sadhyorityavarudhataya triktibis susrusibis tatchanat. So this is always the process, eternal process. Once I was publishing a book for Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. So I transcribed many, this book is called The Embankment of Separation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I read the article also about you and how, because on the one devotee, Raga Pandithu, you were working together in the room, you used to laugh, allowed you, you close your room and you were working on it for many days.
I had never seen that article.
What, is that true?
It's true, yes, but I didn't know that there was anything written about it. Yeah, so, yes, working together with Raghu Pandit. And we were, so what happened, we went to print. We flew from Orissa to...
It's one of my favorite books, I love that book.
To Malaysia to print. It was a great adventure making the book. So anyway, when I wrote the introduction also and the epilogue to the book as well, but it's anonymous, I didn't put the name anywhere there. But when I wrote that, I came and I gave it to Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj to check it, that he was satisfied that this was suitable to be part of his book. And there was something that he said in a lecture, and he gave some reference. And it was connected to the Sarangaranga Datika, the commentary of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami on Bilvamangal Thakur's Krishna Karnamrita. And I said, oh, should I add this? Because we didn't take one lecture. There were many lectures that he gave. Sometimes he would give the same class on different occasions. So I transcribed, and Raghavan also transcribed, the same class given on different days. But on different days he would give different details. And then we blended it and merged it into one that would have all of the details. So then I asked him about, should I put this in here? He said, no, don't. I said, but people will have questions. He said, yes, let them have questions. This is the purpose of the book. That by reading the book, the person will think, well, what does that mean? And then they'll think, I have to find a sadhu who will teach me. So Srila Gaura Govinda directly told me, the purpose of the book is to create the interest, to search out the sadhu who will explain the deep meaning. You know that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is among the angas of bhakti. I think it's the 51st anga. So, Srimad Bhagavat Artanam Asvado Rasikai Saha. One should taste the many meanings of each word of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of Rasik Vaishnavas. That's the exact description of the anger of bhakti studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So Damodar Goswami said to remember the Brahmin came from Bengal. He wanted to read his poetry to Mahaprabhu, but there's a security screening. They have to go through Mahaprabhu's secretary first. So he read this poetry to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Mahaprabhu will become angry if there's any rasabasa or apasiddhanta. Rasabasa jadi hoy siddhanta virod. Sahite na pare prabhu mani hoy krod. Mahaprabhu's trinada pisunichana more humble than a blade of grass. But if you will hear apasiddhanta or rasabas, it becomes angry. This anger is not from the mode of passion and ignorance. This is divine. It's a transcendental emotion. He cannot tolerate the rasabas or apasiddhanta. So Damodar Goswami said, Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Sthane. This is the verse you should learn today. Say, Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Sthane. Yes. Yaha Bhagavata Pada. Go read Bhagavatam. Where? Vaishnavera Sthane. At the feet of a Vaishnava. Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Sthane. Ekanta Astray Karo Chaitanya Charane. And take complete shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because only the Vaishnavas in his line can actually reveal the depth of Srimad Bhagavatam. Other lines, they also have some realization of Srimad Bhagavatam, but the profound depth, because it's the glories of Radhika. Only when Radhika and Krishna combine in the form of Mahaprabhu and come to this world, then the true depth of Srimad Bhagavatam can be revealed. So this is your verse for the day. Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavaya Sthane Ekantara Srai Karo Chaitanya Charane Chaitanyera Bhakta Gana Nitya Karo Sangha Tabito Janibe Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. That's the next verse. And if you associate with such Vaishnavas every day, then gradually one can enter into the ocean of Siddhanta. Like this. So, books are very important. We should study them carefully. But if you want to progress further and further in our spiritual life, we'll have to have regular association with pure devotees. And it's difficult. It requires some surrender and sacrifice in our life to have lots of association. But Vaishnavas are very kind. Mahad Vichalanam Rinam Grihinam Dina Chetasam Nisrayasaya Bhagavan Kalpatain Nanyata Kochit. Who spoke the verse? Nanda Baba, Krishna's father. When Gargacharya came to Braj, on the request of Vasudev Maharaj to make the horoscope of baby Krishna after he was born, then very humbly, Nanda Maharaj, he said, Mahad Vicharnam Rinam Grihinam Jina Jejasam. Mahad, the great Vaishnavas like you are always wandering around the world. Grihinam Dina Tejasam. And you come to the homes of the household devotees who are Dina Chetasa, in very low consciousness. Doesn't mean that every grihastha is in low consciousness. Gargacharya himself is Mahat, but he's also a householder. But the meaning is this, that when the sadhu comes to you, if you have pride, you cannot hear. Only the householders who think, I am Dina Chetasa, I have very low consciousness, can get the benefit from a sadhu when they're wandering here and there. And why are they wondering? Nisrayasaya Bhagavan. Nisrayasa means for the purpose of Sreya, not prayers. There's two things, Sreyas and prayers. So prayer means immediate gratification. And Sreya means our ultimate supreme benefit. So Nisrayasaya Bhagavan. Kalpatain Anyatakwajit. One should never imagine in his mind for 1 second that the sadhus are wandering here and there for some ulterior motive, to make disciples, to make money, to get fame or whatever. There's no worldly motive. It's only Nishrayasaya, to uplift the jivas, to give them a chance. Because they are stuck in the dark well of the material world without sadhu sangha. So if they will not go, leave everything and tishtan brajay tadanuragi jadanugami, then being under the control of the Kripa Shakti of the Supreme Lord, the sadhus, they will go from Vrindavan and wander everywhere to bring some upliftment and benefit. And slowly, slowly, 1 life, 2 lives, 3 lives, and then we can become like Raghunath Das Goswami. Chaktva Turnam Ashesha Mandalapati Shrenim Sadatujtavat Bhuttva Dina Gadeshiko Karanayako Pena Kantashvito Gopi Bhavara Samritabdilahari Kalola Magnomavu Vande Rupa Sanatano Ragujago Shri Jiva Gopalako Gaur Premanande.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So we'll sing just little kirtan to complete and then breakfast will be served.
as you were speaking, I was remembering that pastime with Srila Maharaj. You told me that many years ago, and then I'm so happy that you brought it up again.
There are things, how to do bhajan, how to practice everything. Without sadhu sangha, being close with the pure Vaishnava, we cannot learn. Because there's something even which is not expressed in words.
What about this say also about like service and separation and like you're supposed to serve the mission?
Yes.
And
Yes, in separation, what is left? What is left? Yesterday we were discussing that the preaching of a pure Vaishnava, it's primarily because his guru told him to do it. It's done. It's not primarily for the persons of the world. It is primarily out of love for his guru. And because when that devotee was young, he was serving his guru for many years, and guru was preaching all the time. So when Gurudev leaves this world, becomes unmanifest, then the disciple, out of separation, he cannot stop. He's still doing that. So the preaching of a pure Vaishnava is his separation from Gurudev. But we should not make a philosophy that in those times when we are unfortunate and we don't have sadhu sangha, one should serve as much as he can in separation. Don't make that into philosophy. That sadhu sangha is not necessary or important. Because that's the exact opposite of what all the scriptures say. Everywhere, we were mentioning also the other day, Uddhavji has prayed, Asam aho charanarenu dushamahamsa. I will be fortunate if I could become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So what's the teaching here? When he was living in Mathura, he was happy. He never cried and thought, I would be lucky if I could become a blade of grass. He was fine being, a member of the royal family in the Yadu dynasty. So the teaching of this verse is, how did he go from being happy and a member of the royal family in his comfortable palace in Mathura to crying and just wanting to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan? Sadhu Sangha. It would never have happened if he did not have the association of breath. That's why Krishna sent him there. He's thinking, oh, I'm the messenger, I'm bringing the messages. Krishna sent him there for him to study in the school of Prem. Krishna had other motives as well, because Krishna is a genius. He can fulfill many purposes with one action. But in regard to Uddhav, it was for Uddhav to try to enroll in the University of Prem. Radharani is the principal. And Lalita is the head of the department. But Uddhav, he failed the entrance exam and he had to go back to Mathura. He failed the entrance exam into school of Prem. So he couldn't stay, he had to return. So even everywhere, if one has a vision, sadhu sangha everywhere is glorified. Super inconvenient. What will happen if everyone goes crazy and leaves everything?
Can you say that in that regard, this modern technology is giving an illusion, because people think now they can conveniently hear from their homes?
Absolutely.
And then they're not really seeking satsanga, because I can turn this YouTube channel on or this Facebook channel on and hear from Bhajan Prabhu, this Maharaj, that Maharaj,
Yes.
that lecture, and in that regard, I think we're getting sadhu sangha.
Yes,
We're
yes.
not getting sadhu sangha.
Yes, yes, of course. I know many persons around the world, they're listening to all my videos, but they're afraid they will not come to me because, what will happen to me if I go there? Then I'll be in trouble. I'll lose my followers. I'll lose my position. So yes, Maya has many tricks and traps. बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, बरसने वाली की जय, जय जय श्री राधे। I want to say something important also. Let's just add this point. When Raghunath Das Swami was younger, he tried to run away from home many times, but he was always caught and brought back. He met with Mahaprabhu, and what did Mahaprabhu say to him? Yes. Stira hao gari jao na hawa batul, krami krami pai baba loka sindhu kul, markata vairagya na karo loka dekaiya, yata yogya vishay bunja anasakta hoya, antare karo nishta, bahye loka vyavaha, achirante krishna tomai koribe udar. Don't be a mad person. Go back to your home, make your mind steady. You can cross over the ocean of material existence, but you cannot jump in one day. You have to go step by step by step. So you can enjoy the things of this world in a legitimate way, within a dharmic context. Don't make a show of renunciation like a monkey who has no house, no money, no clothes, but he's just sitting waiting to rob someone or jump on a female monkey. Don't do monkey renunciation. Antara kora nishta. In your heart you should cultivate nishta, steadiness. Bahye lokya vyavaha, and outwardly behave like an ordinary person. Achirate Krishna tomai koriye behuda. Krishna will rearrange your life and then he'll deliver you from that situation after you attain nishta. So you see, Mahaprabhu's instructions are not the same. It depended on the stage in his life. Before he was having the pastime of being in the stage of nishta, stay in your home and practice there. And afterwards, when he got nishta, then Mahaprabhu and Nityananda arranged for him to come. And then what did Mahaprabhu tell him when he came to Puri? He did not tell him, Stira how go back to your home. Then he told him, Gramya kata na kohibe, Gramya vata na shanibe, Balo na pariba a balo na kaibe. Don't speak mundane talk, don't listen to mundane talk, don't wear fancy clothes, and don't eat delicious food. Amani nama naya hada Sada Krishna nama labe, Braje Radha Krishna seva manasa karibe. Give respect to everyone. Chant the holy name continuously, and in your heart do render service to Radha Krishna in Braj, manasik seva. Like that. So you can see the instructions are different depending on the adhikar of the person. If Mahaprabhu told him, go home, stay in your home, and then Mahaprabhu left this world, and then he said, Mahaprabhu gave me this mission. Then when his adhikar rose, he needed another instruction. So like this is why we have to be under guidance, so we can get some instructions are sarvakalik and some are tatkalik. Sarvakalik means an instruction which will always apply. If Gurudev tells you, chant the holy name, this will apply throughout your whole life. But some instructions are tatkalik. Now do this. But then if that Guru leaves, if you only do that, it's good because you have faith. But you must have sadhu sangha, and he'll give you another instruction when the adhikar has come to the next level. Like this. So that example is very clear there from the life of Raghunath Dasa Swami. Different instructions in different stages of his development, before Nishta and after Nishta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
is I was going to be the Pujari of Prabhupada.
I think everyone's gone.